Hello again! Nerf has their Modulus system, I have mine. If you've seen most of my other videos, you'll have probably heard me mention that I had a minimized Stampede. This is that Stampede. The back part of the stock is what is the shoulder mount on my bazooka. I'd always wanted a minimized Stampede. A friend of mine that I played HVC with many years ago by the name of Mowgli had a minimized Stampede, and I absolutely loved it. I liked the look of it, I liked the functionality of it. The one thing it didn't have was modularity. So when I minimized mine, I added the standard Nerf barrel mount and stock mount back onto it so that I could turn it back into an assault rifle as opposed to an SMG. Because, as I have said in many of my videos, and will probably say in many more, I like all things modular. I was not originally a fan of the modular line because the vast majority of the attachments weren't useful. They weren't functional. They were, more foregrips, which we already have, more stocks that we already had, barrel extensions that we didn't need. But now that they've started coming out with functional attachments, I am much more a fan of it. We've got the Mega Dart shooter, we've got the stock that holds magazines, we've got the foregrip that shoots, we've got the barrel extension that's got a gun built into it, and the stock that's got a gun built into it that are independent weapons on their own that are coming out later this year. Very excited for that. I will be painting them up to fit into this system. So let's just go down the line. I'm going to start with this stock, which is a Retaliator stock. It's got a shell holder for a shotgun that holds Mega Darts quite nicely. Holds 4 of them, which is handy since that's how many the pump takes. Works very, very nicely. Though the aesthetics of the stock on that I don't particularly like, just because it doesn't look quite right. But it is very functional. This is probably my favorite stock for this system. It is a recon stock that I have modified, reinforced, so that it's not nearly so flimsy. And if you're left-handed, it will hold an 18-round drum quite nicely. You can also put either a 6 or, I believe, the new 10 that comes with the Tri-Stock would probably fit. I haven't actually tried it. And the barrel that I usually go with is actually this one, and then the foregrip. Fits very nicely. I like it. The foregrip will also go on the bit of rail that's right here. If you like it a little bit closer, just depending on your personal preference. I tend to leave it on there. Naturally, you've also got the Stampede's pop-up one if you'd like to be able to have a bipod. Always liked that stock. For the SMG look, of course, you have the folding stock from the Spectre. It is, of course, flimsy, as everybody knows, and I haven't found a good way to deal with that. Mostly, I just have this because, if you got an SMG, you gotta have a folding stock for it. It's in the rules. Just looks really good when it's hanging off your web gear to have that folding stock there. As much as I like functionality, I also like, things that just look really cool. And finally, we have one of the worker stocks. It also fits on there. Looks a little bit better than the Recon stock, in my personal opinion, but still has kind of that weird gap look. Final barrel extension is the grenade launcher extension, which a friend of mine asked me if I could cut the grenade launcher off of a Demolisher. He was doing a cosplay and wanted the Demolisher launcher removed. I said I'd be happy to do it, but I get to keep the launcher. And then I attached it to a Recon barrel, and now I can put a grenade launcher on whatever gun I feel like. Works quite nicely. I also have, of course, top rail, which is from a Maverick priming handle, since I've got so many Maverick shells lying around with nothing better to do than be scrapped for parts. So I can add one of Nerf's many non-magnifying but fancy-looking scopes. The pop-up sight for, if you want to pretend that you can actually aim your grenade launcher. But for functional attachments, we have, of course, the barrel brakes dart holder, which is very nice. It could also be mounted on the front rail, the side rail. I also have a very nice 3D printed Mega Dart holder, which, since we've got the Mega Dart launcher, is again useful. It can also go on either of the side rails. As far as this blaster goes, the modifications, of course, is I cut off the entire back part of the stock and the battery case, cut off the barrel, cut off the carrying handle. It's currently running off of 4 ultrafires. I know ultrafires are the devil, but it's a stock motor, so it really isn't going to burn out. I would like to put either... There really isn't room in this build for a LiPo, but I could do IMRs. The battery pack is actually up in the front of the gun, which I need to figure out how to make it so that I can get to it easily, because right now it requires taking apart the whole gun to get to the batteries. That is a flaw in the design that I need to work on. The barrel mount, I believe, is out of a long shot. And the stock mount is, of course, off of, I believe, a Raider that I cut up and glued and screwed into place. I also have the spring mod, so it is a lovely full auto blaster. It's actually more accurate than you'd think. So that's my gun. That's my Modulus system. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions for what Nerf attachments I don't have that you think would go really well that I just haven't thought of, please leave them in the comments below, and thank you for watching.